This is Middle East Brief with Avi Kaner, your daily intelligence update on what actually matters.
One of the most interesting questions in modern history is rarely asked. If the world accepted the creation of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan as a homeland for Muslims, why is the existence of Israel so often questioned? At first glance, the two countries have surprising similarities. Both emerged from the collapse of the British Empire. Both modern states were created in the late 1940s. Both were founded on the idea that a vulnerable community needed political self-determination and security in its own state. Supporters of both projects argued that life as a minority carried risks, that self-government was necessary, and that national aspirations deserved political expression. In 1947, British India was partitioned. Muslim leaders argued that Muslims constituted a separate nation and needed a state of their own. The result was Pakistan. The following year, the Jewish people established the modern State of Israel after the United Nations voted to partition the British territory into Jewish and Arab states. The similarities are real, but there are also important differences. The first difference is identity. The movement that created the Islamic Republic of Pakistan was based primarily on religion. Muslims in British India spoke different languages. They belonged to different ethnic groups and lived across a vast geographic area. What united them was Islam. Jews, on the other hand, were not simply followers of a religion, they were a people, a nation, with a shared history, a shared culture, and a connection to a specific homeland stretching back thousands of years. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan was a new state created to provide a homeland for Muslims. The Jewish claim was different. Jews traced their national origins to the very land where Israel was established, including Jerusalem, Hebron, Tiberias, Tzafat. These were not new places in Jewish history. They were among its oldest, long before Christianity or Islam. There were Jewish kingdoms centered in Jerusalem. The connection was not symbolic, it was historical. The third difference involves refugees. And here, the stories become surprisingly similar. The partition of India triggered one of the largest migrations in human history. Between 7 and 9 million Muslims left India for what became Pakistan. At the same time, roughly 7 to 9 million Hindus and Sikhs left the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for India. The migration was accompanied by horrific violence. Entire villages were attacked. Massacres occurred across the subcontinent. Refugee trains arrived filled with corpses. Large numbers of women were abducted and assaulted. Historians estimate that anywhere from hundreds of thousands to more than 1 million people were killed. It was one of the 20th century's great human tragedies. Yet, despite the suffering, the world accepted that partition had occurred. The refugees were largely absorbed into their new countries on both sides. The new borders remained, and the international community moved forward. A similar story unfolded in the Middle East. Following Israel's creation and the First Arab-Israeli War, hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs became refugees. Roughly the same number of Jews became refugees from Arab countries, including ancient Jewish communities in Iraq, Egypt, Syria, Yemen, Libya, and elsewhere. They all disappeared. The difference is what happened next. Most Jewish refugees were absorbed into Israel and other countries. Most Hindu and Sikh refugees were absorbed into India. Most Muslim refugees were absorbed into the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The Palestinian refugee issue, however, remained unresolved and was passed from generation to generation, leaving the descendants of those refugees as geopolitical human pawns to this day. Understanding those parallel refugee stories helps explain why comparisons between the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and Israel continue to resonate today. Both were accepted by the international community as expressions of national self-determination. If one believes Muslims were entitled to a homeland where they could govern themselves and ensure their security, it becomes difficult to argue in principle that Jews were not entitled to the same right. The core principle is remarkably similar: a vulnerable people seeking self-determination in a world that had often failed to protect them. That is why the comparison between the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and Israel is so compelling. If the world accepted the creation of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, despite one of the largest and bloodiest population exchanges in modern history, why is the legitimacy of the Jewish state still uniquely questioned more than 75 years later? Whatever one's views on current politics, Israel is not a historical anomaly. The 20th century saw the creation of many nation-states built around the principle of national self-determination. Worldwide, 27 countries explicitly designate Islam as their official state religion. Of these, 7 countries are specifically governed as Islamic states, including the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan and Israel both emerged from the same era. Both were recognized internationally. Both reflected a belief that peoples and nations have a right to determine their own future. For the Jewish people, that future became the State of Israel. And more than 75 years later, it remains the world's only Jewish state.
This is Middle East Brief with Avi Kaner. If you want clarity, not noise, follow and share. Continue the conversation on X at Avi Kaner. Back tomorrow